Hey Pisces, this reading is kind of ridiculous. Welcome back to Pisces Room. This is ridiculous because the longer I looked at these cards, the more they started talking to each other. And I don't mean just symbolically, I mean visually. Colors are moving from one card into the next, patterns are repeating, figures are leaning towards each other, and it almost looks like somebody's deliberately built a circus across the table. Not a circuit, not a circus, a circuit. Just in case. Although the colors, yeah, maybe. And then the whole thing seems to begin with this Nine of Cups. Now, okay, above the Nine of Cups, I have an affirmation that says, I trust my inner guidance. My soul knows the way forward. Okay? Look at the woman in the Nine of Cups. Her eyes are closed. She isn't looking around trying to figure out where she's supposed to go. She isn't watching everybody else. She isn't checking whether anybody approves of what she's doing. She's inside herself. And I think that's important because sometimes we think knowing the way forward means we should be able to see the whole path laid out. We should know exactly what's going to happen, exactly how we're going to get there, what the next 5 steps are going to be. But this card says something different. You may know the direction before you can see the road, but there's a difference. That's what gets really interesting, is what happens with the other 3 cards, because every single figure is oriented back towards the Nine of Cups. Everyone. The Hierophant, he's leaning towards her. See that? Yeah. The Knight of Pentacles is tipping his hat towards her. There we go. And even this Two of Wands, which has somebody practically folded in half like an acrobat, the head and the body are still oriented back towards the Nine of Cups. Every single one. It's like they're getting in line to align, and I love that. They're getting in line to align. Because I don't think these 3 cards are arriving to tell the Nine of Cups what she needs to become. I think they're acknowledging something she already knows. The Hierophant is wisdom, knowledge, the things we learn, the beliefs we carry, the deeper meaning underneath our experiences. And this particular Hierophant is fascinating because he doesn't look like the traditional Hierophant who is sitting there waiting for everybody to come receive his wisdom. There are hands reaching toward him at the bottom of the card, like the traditional students or followers you would normally see in a Hierophant card, but he isn't looking at them. He's looking directly at the Nine of Cups. He is physically leaning toward her, almost like wisdom itself has recognized where it belongs. I love this. And then with the Knight of Pentacles, normally we think of the Knight of Pentacles as slow, careful, deliberate movement. Somebody who just doesn't run off because they had an idea 5 minutes ago. There's thought behind what they're doing. They're willing to take the time to build something properly. And look at him here. He's tipping his hat. And his hat almost looks like the hat of somebody with authority, a commander or a colonel, somebody who has some kind of standing. And he's tipping that hat towards the Nine of Cups. Yes, this way. Keep going. Right? Then we come to the Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands is vision, possibility, planning, looking at what could be created next. So we've got wisdom, we've got grounded, deliberate action, and we've got vision. All of them pointing towards the same thing. And here's where this gets even weirder. Look at the colors. The pink and the lavender color pattern surrounding the Nine of Cups, see that? Moves directly into the Hierophant's clothing. Right there. Then look at the Hierophant himself. He's blue. Now look at the Knight of Pentacles. Same blue figure. Even the nose matches. Now look at the background behind the Knight. The deep reddish pink colors moves into the Two of Wands. And then look at the markings and shapes on the Two of Wands on the clothing. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there we go. Okay, look at that. And those patterns start taking you right back to the geometry of the Nine of Cups. The colors and the patterns at the top. It's just one touches the next, and the next touches the next, and eventually circles back to where we started. And these aren't four isolated ideas sitting beside one another. They're carrying pieces of each other. That matters, because maybe what you've been trying to bring into alignment is not actually a collection of unrelated pieces that you somehow have to force together. Maybe they already belong to the same pattern. Your wisdom belongs with your desire. Your practical side belongs with your intuition. Your ideas belong with the things that fulfill you. And the ability to build belongs with your ability to dream. They're not fighting for dominance. They're feeding each other. It's a loop. And I think sometimes we make alignment much harder than it needs to be, because we imagine alignment means getting rid of the contradictions. Okay? Pick one. Be one thing. Have one direction. Think one way. But what if alignment isn't becoming one-dimensional? What if alignment is allowing all of the different parts of you to orient towards the same inner truth? That Nine of Cups becomes the center. Not because she's controlling everything. She isn't. Her eyes are closed. She's not running around moving everybody into position. She's just there. And everything else is beginning to recognize where it belongs. Now, the middle affirmation says, I communicate clearly and honestly, making powerful connections with others. With others. And suddenly that feels important too. Because the reading doesn't say that following your inner guidance means shutting everybody else out. There are other people here, other energies, other ideas. Wisdom can come into relationship with you. Opportunity can come into relationship with you. Someone else's perspective can come into relationship with you. But those things are not there to replace your inner knowing. They connect to it. There's a difference between allowing something to influence you and handing it authority over you. And I think Pisces can sometimes feel something very strongly inside and then immediately look outside and go, okay, but does anybody else see this? Does anybody else agree? Is somebody going to confirm this for me? Maybe the confirmation comes after. Maybe you have to sit in that Nine of Cups first. I know what this feels like. I know what fulfills me. I know what feels alive. I know what direction something inside me is pointing to. And then allow the outside pieces to find their relationship to that. Not the other way around. And the final affirmation says, the power of the universe shines within me. Within me. Right here. Again, right back to the Nine of Cups. We started inside. We moved outward into wisdom and work and vision and connection. And then we came right back inside again. It's a circuit. And when a circuit is complete, energy can move through it. It doesn't just travel in one direction and disappear. It feeds itself. The inner knowing affects what you build, and what you build teaches you something, and what you learn changes your vision. Your vision brings you back to yourself with a deeper understanding of what you actually want. Then you go around again. That's growth. And I think this is also why I don't want you to look at your life and say, why am I back here again? Maybe you're not back at the same place. Maybe you've completed another circle. It can look familiar without being identical. You're carrying more information this time, more experience, more of yourself. And there's a funny little thing sitting behind these cards on my table. I have this little sign that says, believe, rest, and thrive. It's back here. I don't know if I can show it to you maybe. You see that? Believe, rest, and thrive. Let me put my camera back. And I looked at the Nine of Cups woman with her eyes closed and thought, well, apparently she took the middle instruction very seriously. Because she's not chasing any of this. She isn't supervising the alignment. She isn't checking everybody's paperwork. She trusts the thing inside herself enough to let the rest begin moving around it. That's a part of your message too. You don't have to manage every moving piece. You have to know what you're orienting around. And once that becomes clearer, you may start noticing something very strange. The right ideas begin lining up. The right work begins making sense. Certain connections become stronger. Certain possibilities start feeling obvious. And things that once looked completely separate suddenly reveal that they were carrying pieces of the same pattern all along. They're getting in line to align. And maybe Pisces, so are you. Not by becoming somebody different, but by finally allowing all the different parts of you to recognize the same center. The soul knows the way forward. You don't have to see the entire road. Sometimes you just have to become still enough to recognize which direction everything in you is already pointing. Thank you so much for coming in today. I have a question for you before I take off. I am totally drawn to these keys, and I know they mean something, but nothing has been coming. I have a hunch. I have a hunch that maybe one of you knows what these keys mean. And if that is you, please let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear from you and add your distinction to this beautiful message. I will see you on Wednesday. Bye for now.